This week on r/relationship advice.
I have crippling depression.
Stay till the end to find out what happens when the hiring manager, 30SF, where I, 30SF, am interviewing is someone I fired last year. I, 23F, am days away from giving birth and my 37M boyfriend just decided to tell me that he can't be at the birth because he's married.
Be gone!
I am just in shock right now, like I almost feel numb, but I really appreciate everyone here for your help. I was really happy and looking forward to baby and I just feel really sad right now, so I need to take a breather. Everything is ready for the baby and I'm still excited to meet them, but Jesus. So first off, I know the age gap probably should have been a red flag, but I was stupid. We've been together for 2 years, but he lives in a different city. When I got pregnant, he said he was going to move to my city and we would move in together. He just needed to finalize some things with his ex-wife. He told me he was divorced when we met and I never had any reason to question it. I knew that he had 2 kids with her as well. He told me the truth about that, just not that he wasn't divorced or even separated. So fast forward, I'm 39 weeks and he suddenly got uncommunicative, which is less than ideal when you're literally about to give birth. Bear in mind that he was supposed to have been fully moved in here a month ago, blamed COVID. Today I found out I am going to be induced on Monday unless baby decides to come out over the weekend, so I contacted him and I was like, okay, what's going on? And that's when he told me that he isn't actually separated or divorced. He never told his wife about anything, and now he felt like he was backed into a corner. I don't feel sorry for him for that, because that's his own fault, but obviously literally 4 days before giving birth isn't the time you want to get this news and I have no idea what to do now. Tell him to frick off, obviously, but what else? I feel like I can take care of the baby, but I was preparing to have a partner to take care of it with me, you know. I don't even know what I'm asking for in terms of advice, but any advice for moving forward and handling this is appreciated.
Do it!
My 21F stepfather, 64M, slapped me and I don't know how to process it.
You are fake news.
Hello everyone. First, some backstory. I was adopted by my mother and late father. I loved my mother and loved my dad. After he died 4 years ago, my mum remarried 2 years later with my current stepfather, let's call him John. I have one younger brother, 17, the biological kid of my mum and late dad, and 2 stepsisters both circa 10 years older than me. John generally doesn't care for me or my brother. Sometimes it feels like he is just leeching off of my mother, if that makes sense. I don't really like him, but we never had a big argument and just kinda tried to live along until I finally moved out. Me, brother, mum and John live together, now to the present. Due to the coronavirus we all had to stay at home the past couple weeks. Mum doesn't work right now, but John can work from home. Since everyone stayed home all day, naturally there was more talk in the family and John opened up a little bit to us. He expressed some worldviews that I didn't expect of him, such as that the economy should continue running and it doesn't matter if old and sick people die, because they are a burden to the country anyway. I told him that he is in fact old and sick, he has complications with the heart and is 64 years old. My brother was laughing at my remark, but John didn't take my comment well and told me to apologize. I was kinda taken aback, because for me, I just stated a fact. I said that there was nothing to apologize to. He repeated that I needed to apologize. I looked at my mum and asked her to defend me. To my surprise, she also said that I should apologize to him. I asked what I did wrong and he started screaming at me to stop being disrespectful and that he is feeding us with the money that he earned and such. I started to cry, because it felt like I was in a bad dream, and then he got up and just slapped me across the face. It came out of the nowhere and I was just sitting there petrified. I guess I waited for my mum to say something, but she didn't, so I just got up and went into my room. I heard my brother screaming at my mum that he hated John. When I was in my room, my brother texted me if I needed comfort or anything, but I told him I'm okay. But I didn't feel okay and basically cried till I fell asleep. What made the feeling worse was that neither my mum nor John came to my room. Nothing. No asking how I was, just nothing. It's early morning now as I'm writing this and I still feel horrible. I don't want to get out of my room or see anyone. I still feel like I'm in a bad dream. I guess I'm just asking what to do now and if I was in the wrong or if my comment was offensive. I don't know. Thanks already.
Be gone!
My husband caught our daughter using a sex toy and is furious, but I feel he is being unfair. Yesterday my husband walked in on my daughter, 15, fapping when we went to put clean washing in her room. Let me just say we aren't a very religious household, but he was raised in one and isn't very tolerant because of it. He left the room immediately and I talked to him and he was furious. I tried to call him down and he did, but he ended up searching her room for electronics to check search history and found there was using a sex toy. He is absolutely furious and was yelling and saying some things I don't agree with, and I think he went too far. She's had all her devices confiscated and hasn't spoken to anyone in the house since. I really feel bad about what happened and that it isn't fair, but I don't know what to do. Help appreciated.
Do it!
My mum dumped my siblings on me and ghosted. I have no idea what to do. Yeah, this is a doozy. I've been trying to post it since it happened, but just haven't really been able to process it. So I'm 23M, and I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. The others are 16M, 14F, 10F and 10M. Our mother is severely bipolar, but very resistant to treatment and, to be frank, is an absolutely shit mother. I've done my best my whole life to raise my siblings since she clearly isn't going to, and I like to think I've done quite well. I managed to keep them out of the care system most of the time, at least. 2 years ago, I finally moved out of my mum's house and started university. I stayed in the same town in case the kids needed me, but I decided I had to start putting myself first a little bit, and I couldn't keep putting off my own life, because my mum is a failure as a parent. You know, with the exception of a few minor incidents, it's actually gone rather a lot more smoothly than I thought thus far. I currently have a house with 2 other students from my uni, though one is currently back in her hometown for the lockdown. So, the problem. Yesterday, there was a knock on the door around noonish. I wasn't expecting anyone, but figured maybe it was the postman or my flatmate had ordered out for his lunch or whatever, and opened it. To my shock, all 4 siblings are stood on the doorstep looking about as confused as I felt. 16-Yo informed me that mum had dropped them off here without saying why or where she was going, and she was in the middle of a pretty intense manic episode and was just sort of rambling nonsennically, instead of answering any questions. Of course I wasn't going to abandon the kids, so I let them in, and have been trying desperately to get hold of mum ever since. I know she's getting my texts, because I've been sending them on WhatsApp and it's showing me she's reading them. Also, when I call, it's ringing 2 or 3 times and then cutting out, so she's clearly seeing the calls coming in and rejecting them, rather than it ringing out. I've tried reaching out to her friends with very similar results. I don't know what to do. I don't have the space for 4 kids in the house, and it's so unfair to my housemate, though bless his soul he's an absolute angel of a guy and keeps telling me not to worry and he's fine with it. I currently have the girls staying in other housemates' vacant room, with her permission, and the boys are in my room with me. Obviously not ideal. I also frankly can't afford to take care of 4 kids all by myself. No idea what groceries are gonna look like from here on out. The kids haven't brought many belongings with them, so they don't have many clean clothes. 16M and probably 14F can't get away with wearing my clothes if it comes to it, but I have no idea how I'm gonna clothe the twins if they're here for more than a few days. I don't want the kids going into the system if I can avoid it. I've had too many traumatic experiences with it myself. Can anyone wiser and calmer than I am offer some advice on what my options are here?
Catch me outside, how about that?
The hiring manager, 30SF, where I, 30SF, am interviewing is someone I fired last year.
Do it!
I hired a girl over the summer. She didn't make it through her probationary period. She came highly recommended by her references. She was a fast learner, had worked through a merger and helped it go through seamlessly. I thought she was terrible at her job with my company and fired her on her 89th day. On her exit interview, she stated that she felt she had been poorly trained and that my temper made her worried about asking for further training, stating that I blew up on her when she asked for clarification on something a few weeks in. She then packed her things and left without so much as another word. I found out through a mutual friend the day she was fired she was offered her job back with a $3 an hour raise and added responsibilities despite having quit just days into her 2-week notice. Well, my boss had to lay us all off because of recent events. When I called and got an interview, the woman who spoke to me said that the hiring manager/trainer would be seeing me in the office despite it being closed and everyone working remotely. I was given her name and I instantly felt sick because it was her. I didn't realize the company had changed their name since I had seen her resume. Should I even go to the interview? I admit, I do have a pretty bad temper that she had witnessed within days of being hired, but I was great at my job. I know her company is desperately hiring workers to meet demand and I need the job.